2020 was a lot, and it's not over. You know that. But can you tell that God is inviting us all onto this bold adventure of faith this year? We're only a few days into 2021, and people are already completely freaked out, feeling helpless, feeling hopeless. Yet to prepare for what's next, we need an anchor of hope that is strong and trustworthy 100% of the time. The writer to the Hebrews tells us this about that question. He says, we who have fled to God for refuge, and isn't that what we're doing? We who have fled to God for refuge can have great confidence as we hold to the hope that lies before us. This hope is a strong and trustworthy anchor for our souls. Those words could have been written directly to us. Like us, those earliest followers were living in turbulent times, and they were finding it harder and harder to stay on course and not drift from their faith. It was like they had motion sickness, and they were grabbing onto whatever they could to hold them secure. But Jesus, the writer of Hebrews says, is our only reliable anchor for our motion-sickened souls. That's us, isn't it? And the truth is, it's so easy to say, well, of course, Jesus is my anchor. Yeah, but if we're honest, perhaps it's also true that we feel a greater sense of security and a greater sense of hope because of the strength of our finances, or because of our social standing in this community that we live in, or because of an individual in our life, even our family. And those are all really good things. But they're all susceptible to the storms of life. They're gifts from God, but they make lousy anchors. Only Jesus, the writer to the Hebrews says, is a reliable anchor. Of course, that doesn't mean that we don't get discouraged. But the thing about an anchor is that it does its very best work set in the seabed where you can't even see it. On the surface, we may be dealing and confronting with very dangerous elements, and oh, we have been. And where you're thinking, this is hard. Will my anchor even stay set? Will it stay secure? But friends, if we put our hope in Jesus as our anchor, then we become the most hope-filled people in the world. The only people who don't need to be freaking out right now is us. But if we don't set our anchor, I promise you, you and I will drift. All we have to do to drift is nothing. Doing nothing is a guaranteed drift. Now, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I think I'm going to drift away from Jesus today. Because all we have to do for that to happen is nothing. Well, we don't want to drift away from Jesus in 2021. We want to stay on course. No matter what happens next, we want to stay on course with our God-given purpose and all that God created us to be. You don't want to just say that Jesus is your anchor. You want to know that He's your anchor, not because you know what's going to happen next in 2021, but because you know who will be in 2021. Jesus as your only reliable anchor. Now, it's stormy out there. And even when we set our hope in Jesus as our anchor, it can be scary when we start bouncing around, right? But friends, you were born for this. God chose you for this moment. That's why we can go into 2021 as the most hope-filled, faith-filled, joy-filled, peace-filled people in the world. Again, not because we know what's coming in 2021, but because we know who is in 2021. Jesus, a trustworthy and secure anchor for our souls.